What's up, guys? It's the Dual Factory once again with another video. This time it's going to be a regional port from St. Louis. This is also going to be after the release of Raging Tempest, so you have all the Zodiac stuff and whatnot. At this event, I did not play Zodiacs because I did let some of my stuff be borrowed by a couple of my buddies that were playing the deck, and I already have my invites. I was going to play Water. However, I could not find a Mermail Abyssmander in time, so I decided not to play that deck. But instead, I decided to play Blue Eyes because I've had a fixation with Blue Eyes for the past couple weeks. Also, I think it has a really good Zodiac matchup, and I wanted to play it and have a little bit of fun at the event, especially with all the new stuff coming out. You never know what you're able to see. That being said, for my regional experience, I did go 2-2, but like I said, I digress. I was playing for fun, so it's not that big a deal to me. So, onto the deck profile. You do play 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. You do need to play 3 copies of it. There is no way to get around it, especially since you're playing cards like Pot of Desire. There we go. Since we're playing cards like Pot of Desires. And if you banish multiple copies, you at least need 1, so that way you can still summon your alternatives and whatnot. But there's that. We also play 3 copies of Alternative. You want to see this card in every opening hand because it is a big combo starter for your deck. Plus, the Zodiac deck has a hard time dealing with it just because it's so big and it can deal with cards every turn. We also do play 2 copies of Dragon Spirit of White. In some instances, I wish we only ran 1, but there are some times that you do need the second one in the deck, so that's why we play 2. And then kind of like for attack, I am playing 2 copies of Malefic Blue Eyes White Dragon. A lot of the times, I found myself needing an additional level 8 body that I could summon to the field for free, so I could turbo out the Dark Matter and do the Goliath play. Just having Return of the Dragon Lords simply wasn't doing it for me. So, I decided to look through and I saw that this card was there, and then it also allowed me to play cards like Dragon's Ravine, stuff like that, and Dragon's Ravine corrected a lot of bricky hands in the deck, so we play 2 copies of him. Then on to the 1-stars, we do play 3 Sage. You want to see this card in every opening hand, whether it is a normal summon it, or most of the time I use its effect just to summon a Blue Eyes out of the deck so you can get another 8 on the field to go with Alternative. But you want to see it in every opening hand because it's the only card that you can draw that you can literally do something with every time you see it. So we played 3 of that. I do play the 1 copy of Master. I think it's important to play the 1 copy, and I think every Blue Eyes deck should play it, especially since you can add Sages that you've already used back to the hand and summon more Blue Eyes out of your deck. Plus, it also allows you, if you open a return and a way to make Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, you can still open Crystal Wing and Blue Eye Spirit. So I think that's why it's important to play the 1 of. I also play 3 White Stone of the Ancients. It's the best stone. Plus, with Dragon, if you open this in Dragon's Ravine, it becomes a Rota for any single Blue Eyes Dragon in your deck. So you can Rota the Malefic Blue Eyes, you can Rota regular Blue Eyes, or you can Rota a alternative simply by having this card in Ravine. So it just because Ravine makes it that much more powerful of a card. And then the 1 White Stone to get to your Blue Eyes if you don't have the Ravine play. And then I also play the 1 Fabled Cat Sith. I thought it was important to have outs the cards like Vanity's Emptiness, Zodiac Trident, and other Floodgate monsters and whatnot. So I decided to play the 1 main deck copy because it is searchable, plus it's another tuner. And then, like I was saying earlier, since my deck's built to turbo out the Dark Matter Goliath combo, I am playing the 1 Arcbrave and the 1 Amorphage. It's also really cool, too, with Ravine, because if you open one of these, you can use the Ravine to ditch the 1 out of your hand and then send the other piece of the combo to the graveyard, and then you're freed up to do whatever play you want to do afterwards, whether it's just that play or also put a Spirit on the field. And then just 2 Maxies in the main deck. I didn't main deck Ogre. I wanted to, but I couldn't find the room, but this usually got me there. That's it for the monsters. On to the spells. 3 Melody of the Awakening Dragon. You play 3 of it because it can search Alternative and your regular Blue Eyes, but it can also search Malefic too, which I thought is a really cool point. And then, like I said, for my engine, I play 2 copies of Ravine. I love this field spell. It's one of my favorite field spells. And this deck, I feel like it fixes a lot of the problems that the deck has, especially with bricking, because now, like, with your stones in hand and stuff, you can Rota for specific dragons. Plus, it also fulfills the requirement for Malefic Blue Eyes White Dragon. So you can just summon it on the field and have a free level 8 body. So I feel like it corrected a lot of problems with the deck. One of the issues is you don't want to usually see the second copy, you just want to see the first copy, so to kind of mitigate that, I did play the 2 Terraforming. So that way you can pull the second copy out of the deck once you see the first. We do play 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. Honestly, to me, this is the best spell card in the deck. The only problem is you don't see it enough. and I felt like that was a huge problem. That being said, I would go back and revise the list where I can make at least 2 copies of Foolish Burial Belonging, because I notice you're not really like wanting the Monster Reborn effect as much as you want the Blanket Lance effect to keep your cards on board because of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber and all the board wipes going around now, but it is what it is. And enough about that. And then I also play 1 Soul Charge. This card's ignorant. Like, straight up. Like, anytime I drew it, I won. It's just, it's flat out ignorant. It needs to be banned. I don't know why it's still legal, but as long as it's legal, I'm going to play it, so there's that. And then I played 3 copies of Trade-In. You have 11 level 8s for this card to work with. Max out on it. And then I also played 2 copies of Pot of Desires. For space issues, I cut it down to 2. Realistically, I would want to play 3, but like I said, space issues. And then the 1 copies of Vanity's Emptiness. I didn't play Barrier or anything like that in the main deck. I don't think Barrier is very good in this deck to be regardless. But that's just me, and my Barriers were on loan that day. So, I digress. Like I said, I wasn't able to play Mermail, but my main boy Neptibus was on top of my extra deck. Shout out to John Skinner for making me this really cool token. But enough about that. I did play the 1 Michael, never summoned it, but it was there for utility. The 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon for the aforementioned play that I was telling you earlier. If you open a way to make Spirit and have a return in hand, you can summon this card. So that way you can make the Crystal Wing and Spirit in the same turn. 1 Stardust Spark Dragon, so that way if you open Vanity's Emptiness, you can just lock your opponent out. 1 Crystal Wing for the Soul Charge play, and the, like I said, 3-card combo I told you earlier. And then I also played 2 Azure Eyes. This card is MVP for sure. Anytime you drop this on Zodiac, like, they can't win. They can't go a turn without blowing up your stuff, and then you just generate more dragons, and it gets harder for them to win at that point. 2 Spirit Dragon. This card's really good, being able to tag out into Azure Eyes, being able to stop the graveyard effects. And then for the Metal Foe variants of Zodiac, this card's really, really insane. So 2 of that. And then 1 Vermilion Dragon mech. In testing, like when I play it at locals and stuff like that, because you see a lot of ignorant cards at locals, this card's really good. But in actual tournament play, I never summon this card. I promise, honestly would cut it for something else. I just don't know what. And then on to the XYZs, I did play 1 Alcé. It's really good for moving big bodies off the board. Plus, you can do ignorant things like call Soul Charge, get lucky, and then just win the game from there. So, 1 Heliopolis non-targeting destruction effect is really good. It baits out all the hand traps and whatnot. And just a big 3k body. And then we also play 138. Usually you only summon this off with the Soul Charge play, but it's there if you need it. And then for the Galaxy Ice package, I played the 1 with Cypher, the 1 Full Armor, and then the 1 Dark Matter. And then the side deck, I did play 2 Ghost Ogre. I was saying I wanted to main this earlier, but I simply just didn't have the room. But it was really good against Zodiac. It was, against Rogue matchups, it's okay, but, like, in the Zodiac matchup is where it really, really shines, so do that. 2 Crow. 2 Crow, I thought this card was going to be, like, outstanding, but it was, like, it was okay when I resolved it. I would still continue to play it because I still did City Important, but it's not as good as I thought it'd be. Since I wasn't playing Barrier, I decided to play 3 copies of Barrier Statue of the Heaven. This card was just an absolute joke. Like, it was really, really funny when I summoned it because people would try to interrupt the Kaiju Slumber me, but they weren't running 2 of the light kaiju, 2 different named light kaijus for whatever reason, and then they couldn't deal with the statue. They would have to draw Terror Top, and it was really funny. 3 Cosmic Cyclone to deal with back row, plus it also banishes Barrage, which is important, and other cards. So there's that. 2 Chalice. This card was mediocre, I'd like to say. But I wanted a card that was good going first or second, so this card fit the bill. And then I did side board wipes. So I sided 2 Dark Hole and Raigeki. I honestly hate board wipes. I think they're degenerate, and they don't add to combos and anything like that. But because of the format and how everything's throwing up really fragile boards, it's almost stupid not to play them, even though I hate playing them, but I digress. But that was my regional report for St. Louis with my Blue Eyes deck. Always remember to like, comment, subscribe. I am going to bring you guys a pure Zodiac build. However, I am waiting on some rarity bumps of some cards that come in the mail before I post it up here for you, because a lot of people will watch my content for the max rarity cards I'll put up there and stuff and whatnot. And some of you actually stay for the content because you want to hear what I think about my meta. I don't know. I personally love all of you, but I digress. I have a viewer base of many people. So always remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.